Hello everyone and welcome back to the Ryan Retro channel. In today's video, we're going to be looking at PlayStation 3 emulation on Android. Yes, this is a very exciting day. If you follow the channel, you might have seen my previous video where I ran PlayStation 3 emulation on the Retroid Pocket 5. But in order to do that, I needed to run a custom operating system called Rocknix. But today, we are able to run PlayStation 3 emulation directly on Android. So whether you're watching this video with your Retroid Pocket 5, Retroid Pocket Mini, Odin 2, or even just an Android phone, you can follow along with me and get some PlayStation 3 games running on Android. So let's jump into the app now and I'll show you a few working games. And then after that, I'm going to run you through how to get this set up for yourself. So as you can see here, I've added quite a few games to my library, and the PlayStation 3 has so many great games. But unfortunately, most of these games will not work. If you saw my previous PlayStation 3 video, only one game worked out of the whole library that I had. But I'm happy to tell you that we have greater success today. So let's first jump into a game I absolutely love, and that is Tennis in the Face. This game is available on Android, it's available on the Secret Console, and there's many ways you can play it. So you don't need to play it on PlayStation 3, but I'm just going to show you it does indeed work. The first thing you might notice is we have this on-screen overlay for the PlayStation controls here, and as of now, there is no way to turn this off. Also, out of the box, your controller will not be synced with this, and there are no options to do so. But as you can see, I have full control over the screen using my gamepad, and I'm going to show you exactly how I did that later in the video. So let's press start and jump into the game. You can see I can control everything with the analog stick, with the D-pad, however I like. And to hit the ball and knock these clowns right out in the face, I can push the B button, which correlates to X on PlayStation. Go! Performance also seems pretty good, it's nice and smooth, and just as I say that, it seems to have crashed. What a shame. The audio sounds perfect, but unfortunately we are getting crashes because this is a very, very early release of this. This is something groundbreaking. Having PlayStation 3 emulation directly in Android is almost unheard of. There was a method to do it during Termux, but I've been working at that for months and still been unsuccessful. So having just an APK file like this that you install and start playing is groundbreaking. But unfortunately also, right now, a little bit game breaking. So let's jump into a different game. Another one that I got working is Castle Crashers. This is a game that I've never played before, but I have seen a lot before. I actually wanted it when it first came out, but didn't end up picking it up. Once again, you're going to see the performance looks really good. We don't have any kind of options right now, so it seems that it's running at a native 1080p because it looks fantastic. So let's jump into a local game. We obviously don't have the PlayStation Network enabled for this. And you might also notice these games I'm playing today are all demos or trials of games. And that's because this emulator right now can only access your internal storage. There's no way that I found to put games on an external SD card. So with the limited internal storage space, I've chosen to run demos and trials of games because they're nice and small. So this will be my first time playing Castle Crashers. As you can see, the controls are working very nicely. Everything's responsive, everything's smooth. It looks fantastic, it sounds fantastic. This video is being recorded at 30 frames per second, but it does look like a nice solid frame rate to me, higher than 30 frames per second. Let's just turn on the frames per second counter so you can get a more accurate idea of the frame rate we're running at right now. And as you can see, the frame rate is around the 40s and 50s, getting quite close to a 60 frame per second frame rate. And this is my first time playing this game, and it's running really, really nicely. It remains to be seen whether we're going to get any crashes like we did in Tennis to the Face, but if we don't, this is 100% beautifully playable. Ow. So this is Castle Crashers for the PlayStation 3 running directly in Android. Let's move on to another game now. And the next game I want to show you is The Simpsons game. You're going to see the textures slowly loading in. This game is definitely not running perfectly, but it is running. And as we start running with Homer, I can punch and kick all of those crusties away. Bang, 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 bang. I can jump. Press R1 to become Homer Ball. Oh, it's actually R2 for us. Looking at the frame counter at the top of the screen, you can see we're in the 20s, sometimes going up into the 40s. is a little bit inconsistent. Let's go bowling. But it is indeed playable, and it's a game that I wasn't expecting to be playable. So the fact that we can run around in the mid-20s to 40s in frames per second, and as of now, we cannot adjust any settings. So in the future, we might be able to lower some settings to increase performance. This is a really solid showing. As you can see, we have all of the buttons functioning here. As I move them on my controller, you're going to see them on the screen as well. X, square, triangle, circle. But actually my L button is not registering. As you see, when I push the button, it doesn't register. And that's because I put the frame counter over the top of it. So if you move that out of the way, we now have a functioning L button, and all of the buttons are functioning as they should. Let's just fire our catapult at some baddies. Oh, there's too many! And now let me show you how to get this emulator set up for yourself. So the first thing you're going to need to do is download the APK file. And unfortunately, in the past day or so, it's been taken down because the creator of this was asking for $2,000 to release the source code, even though he didn't actually make it himself. So that's obviously illegal and against the rules of GitHub. So his account has since been deleted. But don't worry, I've got you. So if you join my Discord in the link in the description and go to the resources section, you will find both the APK file you need and also the PS3 BIOS file. So grab those and then come back here with me and I'll guide you through how to get this running for yourself. So first of all, navigate to where you downloaded the APK file for PS3E. Just like any other app, you're going to tap on it and press install. After a few seconds, that will be done and you can open a PS3E emulator. Opening up the emulator, it is incredibly simple. It will just tell you that your game list is empty and you'll have a 3-dot menu at the top right. So tap on that menu and then you need to do two things. You need to install the PS3 firmware, which you can grab from my Discord server or just from the official PlayStation website. And you also need to add your games. So first of all, let's install the firmware. So now navigate to where you downloaded that PS3 firmware file. Mine is in my download folder, and you should be able to see it easily because right now the emulator is only looking for that specific file type. So the only file I can actually see here is the BIOS file. So let's tap ps3 update.pup. Once we do that, it's going to install the firmware for us. And once the window closed, that is now done. So now all you need to do is add your games. And of course, I cannot tell you where to get games from. But assuming you have some PlayStation 3 games you'd like to try, tap the 3 dots again and choose Install ISO/PKG, because your games will need to be in either ISO format or PKG format. So tap that and navigate to where your games are. Here I have some PKG files of some of my PlayStation 3 games. The annoying thing about these games is they just have kind of code names. They don't have the real name of the game in most cases. But one that does have the name of the game is Tennis in the Face. So I'm going to show that as my example. So find your game you'd like to play and just tap on the game. The window will close and you won't see anything. What you need to do is tap the 3 dots and tap Refresh List. That's now going to show the game you just installed. Now you need to tap on it to open it. But in most cases, it's not going to work the first time. A lot of games, when you open them the first time, will just show a black screen. So all you need to do in that case is go back and try it again. And some games needed to be tried 5, 6, or even 7 times before they would suddenly start working. In this case, you can see it is working the first time around, which is great news, as you'll see this loading bar and a nice background. And what we're going to need to do is run the game twice. The first time it's going to compile shaders. This is going to take quite a long time. As I'm talking, you can see the bar going along, but remember, this game is extremely tiny. This is one of the smallest games available for the PlayStation 3. So with a larger game, you can expect this to take quite a lot of minutes. So prepare to go grab a snack, chill out, watch TV for a little while this does its thing. Okay, a long time has passed. Now everything finished compiling and you're just going to see a black screen. So you will have seen in this case, it compiled shaders and then started playing the game. But that is not standard for this emulator. Usually what will happen is it will compile shaders very slowly and then either just quit back to the main menu or you'll get a black screen and nothing will happen. In that case, all you need to do is come back to the main menu here again and just run the game again. And when you run it again, it should load much more quickly now and you will be able to jump into your game. And in my testing, most games didn't work. That's just the nature of emulators that are quite immature. We do have some systems that have been around for years, such as Dolphin, for example. Dolphin has been around for years and had so many updates, so it runs really consistently on many devices. PlayStation 3 emulation, on the other hand, is really immature. It barely runs well on almost anything. So the fact we're running it here on Android with just a simple APK file is amazing. So now let's get the controls working. Right out of the box, you're going to see that the on-screen controls work fine, but none of your controls will do anything. So we need to set those up now. Thankfully, it's actually quite easy to set up because all the controls are on the screen and all you need to do is map your buttons to them. Depending on what device you have, it's going to be different for each system. But most portable handhelds like this will come with their own mapping software. For the Retroid Pocket 5 in this case, you need to scroll down from the top, come over to the floating icon, which brings up this little bar over here, drag over from that side and turn on the key adapter. This then lets you set up a configuration for the application you're running. You'll see it says new PS3E config. What that means is it's going to run for the whole application. So you don't need to do it every game, you just need to do it for this app, and then any PlayStation 3 game you run will have the controls mapped properly. So first things first, we need to add some buttons. So on the Retroid Pocket 5, that's the first option here, that is a button. So you need to just grab that and drag it over to what button you'd like to tap. So we want to tap here on the screen where the X button is, and then you now need to tap the corresponding button on your controller. So for this one here, we want this one, and you will see it light up B. So now the B button is going to push X for us. So we're now going to repeat this step with all of the other buttons. So the face buttons, the D-pad, select and start, also the bumpers and triggers, and clicking in the sticks as well. Everything except the actual analog stick movement. So I'm going to bring a button over to here and press Y, over here and press X, over here and press A, and now all of my face buttons are set up. I'll repeat the procedure for the D-pad, and also L and R, which will be the bumpers. L2 and R2 will be the back triggers, and in fact on the Retroid Pocket 5 is even labeled for you, L1, L2, R1, R2. And finally, L3 and R3 will be clicking in the left and right sticks. So with all of that set up, the only thing we have left to do is to map the analog sticks. And for that, we're going to use the two analog stick icons here. So we have the left one, which goes to the left, and then we have the right one, which goes to the right. And they are even labeled with an L and an R, so you cannot really mess it up. Just make sure they're in the middle, where the middle of the letter is kind of in the middle of the circle, and you can see the blue outline of our mapping program goes around the white outline of a PS3E's control overlay. So with all of that done now, you could press OK and you're good to go, but now you're going to see even more buttons over the screen. So in order to make these invisible and make it a little bit nicer on the eyes, once again come back into the key adapter and choose this little hexagon icon here. Down here you can set the transparency of those buttons we just added to the screen. So make sure to just move that all the way down to 0%, dismiss, press OK, and now they're all invisible, but they are completely functional, as you can test by moving them around and seeing all of the buttons light up to your input. So just try all the buttons, make sure all of them are functioning correctly. I realize here I made a mistake because my right bumper is not doing anything and my left trigger is doing both L2 and R, so clearly I made a mistake there. So no worries, just come back to the key adapter again. And yes, as you can see, L2 is here and also here. So all you need to simply do is tap L2 over there. Don't worry about this menu that shows up, just simply press the new button and you will see it update on the screen. Right now it says L2, but when I press R1, it's going to change to that. 3, 2, 1, go. And as you can see, it now says R1. Let's hit save, save all of this again. And now, as you can see, all of the buttons are working just the way that they should. And now if you want to turn off that floating icon because you find it annoying, just come down from the top of the screen once again and turn off floating icon. All of your changes will be saved, it will all still be working, you don't need to see the icon there. So now we have a fully functional PlayStation 3 emulator. And while not all the games are going to work in it, feel free to experiment and see what you can get working. I will carry on with my tennis to the face game and see how that goes, and I look forward to seeing what you get running on this too. So I hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. If it was helpful, please give me a like and subscribe if you didn't already. We are about to hit 9,000 subscribers probably today, which is crazy. If you'd like to pick up your own Retroid Pocket 5 to play some PlayStation 3 games on, check out the official Retroid website in the description, which is my affiliate link. Feel free to hang out in the Discord if you grabbed the files from there earlier, and thank you so much to my Patreons who helped me so much over the past month. Thank you once again everybody for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow for another video. Bye!